Jeff Dye's friendship. Jeff Dye's friendship. Jeff Dye's friendship. Jeff Dye's friendship. Jeff Dye has friends. No, really, Jeff has friends. Jeff's friends are on this podcast. Jeff Dye's friendship. Jeff Dye's friendship. Jeff Dye's friendship. Jeff Dye's friendship.
Friendship.
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to another episode of Jeff Dye's Friendship. If you guys are watching on Patreon, what's up, y'all? Sorry I didn't put no gel in my hair. If you're listening on iTunes or if you're listening on Podbean or wherever you get your podcast, don't forget to rate and subscribe. Also, spread the word. We could use the help. We're good at a lot of things at this podcast, but promotion's not one of them because you feel like you're bothering people. You know what I'm saying? You feel like you're like, hey, you should listen to my podcast. And they're like, yes, everyone has a podcast. But ours is good, and we enjoy making it, and we love bringing it to you guys. And all the feedback we have got has been great. So thank you so much. We love you guys. If you're not watching the podcast, just go over to patreon.com/Jeff Dye. Subscribe. You're going to get a lot of cool stuff by becoming a Patreon subscriber. Not to mention free tickets to my comedy shows, meet and greets, random gifts when I think about it. And then, and then the podcast. You can watch this podcast. We love you guys. This episode's awesome. We got Chad Denick all the way up from San Jose, California, I guess down. And then Clayton Thomas, who got robbed of his own episode when we had a wrestler on. So we were super excited to have him back. I know you're going to enjoy it. There's a whole chunk of talk, and then the end part is a lot about pro wrestling. So if you like wrestling, you're going to enjoy that. If you don't, you can just stop listening at a certain point and let the wrestling stuff be wrestling stuff. But I know you're going to love it. Enjoy. And we're in. I'm so excited about this episode because we already had Clayton Thomas once. We already had him in the house, or in the podcast house. You've been here many times since to watch wrestling and just hang out.
The best house ever.
Thanks, man. But while you were here,
yeah,
I was like, we're gonna record an episode afterwards with X-Pac, the 1, 2, 3, and Sean Waltman. And I sent him a text. You know, you're always welcome here. And then I was like, hey, let's record at like such and such time. And he's like, too late, I'm here now. And I was like, all right, I guess we're doing a double. And we didn't get to really talk to you much because you were such a nice guy and such a big wrestling mark. You wanted to ask him questions too.
Yeah.
So we didn't get really talk about you, man. We didn't talk about the wife. We didn't talk about the career. We didn't talk about your love for all the things that we love. So welcome back, Jeff Dye's Friendship Podcast, friend and guest, Clayton Thomas.
yes, CT.
You guys are the best. You guys are amazing. Thank you for having me, man. This house is literally, you remember when you were little and you wanted to do like all of the fun shit and you got friends, you're like, oh, I want to go to such and such's house. And then it's like, they would be on punishment. You'd be like, fuck. Like, this is that house, man. I'm like, I get to go over Jeff's house.
I'm flattered about that. Well, you're welcome anytime.
This is the best.
Tony, back in the saddle. How you doing, bud?
Good, man.
How's your weekend?
It was good.
Full of work?
Just working, getting stuff done.
That's what I like. Still waiting on the stand-up clips.
I know.
You doing stand-up?
No. I'm doing
He's editing some stand-up for him.
Yeah.
So whenever he's like, I worked real hard, I was like, what's going on with the... just because he's working on everything else for me.
Yeah.
Aaron Marsh, Heel Marsh here.
Yeah.
I'm back. What's up?
How you feeling, bud?
I'm doing stand-up. So, to you, Tony.
Yeah, how...
Fair enough. All right.
Where were you up anywhere this week?
Yeah, I did the Universal Bar and Grill last night.
Nice.
Which, if you've been there...
Which you don't love to talk about.
No, because they don't deserve the plug.
Okay.
Yeah, but it is fun. We should shoot on that place because it is pretty bad.
The worst thing is that, like, the guy makes a flyer, so you want to share it because he put through... The flyer's the nicest part of the whole experience.
The only organized part.
Yeah, and then... You share it, and then people show up, and you have to apologize. You're like, hey, I'm really sorry you showed up to this. This is like my wake, but I'm still alive.
Good God.
But I mostly just shoot on the room when I'm in the room, and it does pretty well because everyone does. They're like, this is a really awful experience.
You are becoming, even to just our mutual friends like Richard and stuff like that, like the Heel Marsh adaptation and what you've become in the last few years. you're going to be. I think you're going to be a wildly successful comedian, but I also
Absolutely.
think you are a comic for sure.
Yeah, I'm definitely becoming that, and I'm becoming the monster I am in my text messages.
But it's a character, you know.
I play a character in my text messages. It's
Yeah.
unforgiving, but it's even coming out at like work and things or other sorts of things. Or someone tries to pull some bullshit, and
That
you just
character is pretty real though too. You do giggle about mischief.
It's not a stretch.
yeah,
You
no,
find-
it's not a lie. It's
Yeah.
just like it's me like peeling back the Mormon and being like,
Yeah.
you know what? Underneath
That's
this,
what it is.
Rebellion.
That's what it is.
Yeah.
Yeah.
pardon me, sir, but you're being very unlikable. You know, like it's just
like you
letting
know,
him know.
Joker's like just wants to see the world like
Just wanna
on
see it burn.
fire. You know, like you're
I want to see it
that
covered in blood.
with really like the misdemeanor Joker.
Yeah, 100%.
Yeah.
Also here with us, staying at my house, also a comics comic. I often call Aaron the Chad Denick of Los Angeles. Chad Denick's in the house.
Yeah, it's just the sound of my voice. Thanks, guys.
Please clap louder than he can talk, guys.
It's
There
the
you go.
sound of my voice. It's an honor. Just wanted to thank you guys so much.
There, all right.
All right.
Joke landed. All right.
How are you, brother?
Good. I'm great.
Are you happy
Thank
to
you
be?
very
This is the only guy who left Seattle, and I was like, "Oh, he's so funny, dude. You're gonna be fine." And he's like, "Moving to Sacramento." I was like, "That's not really how this works."
Yeah.
Comics move to New York or LA.
Yeah.
They don't generally say like, "Well, I'm only 7 hours outside of Los Angeles, and I can swing by once every 3 months
Yeah.
if my wife allows it."
It is San Jose, but yeah,
How far is that?
That's not Sacramento.
Yeah.
I know nothing about.
it's 2 hours
It's in the
closer.
If it's
Yeah.
past North Hollywood, I don't care about it.
That's hilarious.
How do you like being here though?
I love it. I love every time I get to come down to LA, and
I'm excited to
Bounce
show
around.
you Comedy Magic Club this week.
I'm excited for that.
What day are you going?
Friday and Saturday, I'll be there. You can.
Oh, you'll be there.
Oh yeah, I'm performing.
Perfect.
But you should come.
Done deal.
Absolutely.
I should have
Do you
sent
send
my
him your
mails in.
mails?
Yes, but you know what's funny? First of all, shout out to Richard, the Comedy Magic. He always gives me spots.
Yeah, he's the best.
But the thing about this week is I forgot because of Labor Day. I thought Labor Day, it felt like a Sunday.
Right.
So when I woke up today, I'm like, oh, street cleaner. You know what
You
I mean?
might be. That's a good example.
Forgot about everything.
Send him a text.
I bet you.
Yeah.
Yeah, he might put you on Friday, Saturday because it's 10 comic shows. I know he has nothing during the week, but he might put you on for the weekend for
I'm
sure.
going to do it as we're talking.
Nice.
Any
Yeah.
dropouts or something?
We love you, Richard. You're the greatest.
The
That's crazy because
best.
I'm available too, which is weird.
Oh no,
Which is
no,
that's really-
weird.
no, Chad, just Clayton. I was here.
Hey, do you think I can just give a stand up a shot this weekend?
Absolutely not.
Oh, I thought you were gonna.
Richard is very particular.
gonna-
You can
You're
order an
gonna,
entree and just eat 2
He'll
entrees.
let you hang out. Yeah, you can
Yeah, it's
order
true.
whatever you'd like. Yeah, I'm so excited about this. Well, let us know what Richard says over
Yeah, we're
there.
on pins and needles now.
He's the best. I'm probably going to be there Friday. Even if I'm not, I'm
Should
going
we
to
call
be
him?
there
Let's
Yeah,
Friday.
we'll have fun.
Let's just
It'll be
call
good.
him.
I did. It was cool how many shows. We got to do 3 shows on Saturday. Last Saturday.
Oh, so what was it, the 6 and in both rooms?
Yeah. It was incredible. It was like this, is like New York, except I don't have to drive around all stressed
Just go
out.
into the other room.
Yeah, it made me very happy.
great.
What's your home club? What would you say?
Oh, my home club, Comedy Union.
Comedy Union.
Yeah, like I'm there, like regularly. You always will see me there. Laugh Factory, Hollywood.
Mm-hmm.
Well, I like Laugh Factory Long Beach more, but Comedy Union and Laugh Factory, and that's like I'll do the nights everywhere, but those are the spots where I'll just go.
Yeah,
Right.
I'm still
Do you
bummed I
feel
haven't
pressure
seen
to
it.
do new material at the Union?
Absolutely, because
Yeah.
it's like my home. It's like when I walk in, somebody's gonna come up to me like, "Hey, man, I saw you when you first got to town," and
Ah.
like it always happens. So there, I have to at least throw in some new bits, or I'll just riff the entire set just so you feel something different
Right.
seeing me.
Yeah, I feel like that at Comedy Magic. I had one guy come up to me. This is probably like last year, but he's like, "Hey, every time me and my wife are here, you're here."
Okay.
Like on the way to the bathroom, and I wanted to be like, I don't even know that the tone of that sounded like you want me to apologize.
Like he's
Did you
talking.
say thank you or apologize to that? I don't know.
And what I did is I just kind of backtracked. I was like, yeah, this is my home, or I was like, this is my home club, and he backtracked. He was like, oh no, I didn't mean, no, it's good, but like I was like, yeah, I know what you're doing. So
Yeah, I know what you're doing.
I know what you
sir.
meant. I don't
So
like it.
Comedy Magic for you.
Comedy Magic is my home club. Yeah,
Anywhere else?
improv, and then Laugh Factory's like a third.
I could never. Let me tell you this. Rita at the Improv, because when I got here, she was still just doing everything hands on,
Mm-hmm.
and she showed me love. And then when they switched, it was like Paige is doing it now, and before her, Jamie was booking it for like spot wise.
Right.
Never got it since the change.
Right.
I have not performed on anything but Black Night at the Improv.
Really?
Facts.
Somebody needs to fix.
I'll tell them you're Mexican.
That would help.
Somebody needs to fix the Laugh Factory setup. You can't even go in and hang out.
No.
Like they treat it like, oh, what are you doing? Like they made Jeff Z, who was just hanging out with me because I was like, come to the show with me, but he couldn't like carpool. So he's like, I'll just meet you there. I was like, all right, just text me when you're here and I'll come down and get you. They made him buy 2 drinks, and he's such a sweet guy that he's just like, oh, okay. Like, and he's bought 2 drinks as a comedian who wasn't performing. Oh, it's like so annoying. But like, I don't know why they treat it like that.
I'll tell you, well, 2 things. One, first week in LA, and this is, I don't know everybody's opinion on Dane Cook, but I will always love this guy because this is what he did for me. First weekend in LA, I came in, it was a Friday night, and I go to the Laugh Factory. I'm like, hey, I'm a comedian. They're like, oh, okay, cool. It's going to be $25. I'm like,
they don't care at all.
I'm a comedian. And they're like, yeah, $25. And it's going to be 2 drinks. And I'm like, oh, shit, because I moved here with $700.
Right.
So I'm like, fuck, this is coming out of my bread. So I go in, I pay, and I'm sitting there, and I'm watching this jam-packed crowd. And I'm like, wow, I just can't wait to be on that stage. I go to the back area where all the comedians hang out, and I see Dane Cook, and this was right when Vicious Circle had came out. I'm like, oh shit, it's Dane Cook.
It's the peak.
And I was like, hey, excuse me, man, because Jamie, I told Jamie I was coming. He's like, yeah, buddy, I don't know you. You're new here. You could be telling me anything. Just go inside and have a good time. So I see Dane. I say, Dane, man, it is amazing to meet you, man. I'm Clayton Thomas. I just saw your special, man. You're really funny, man. Like I love the movie Waiting. Like I'm a fan of yours.
Right.
And he was like, oh man, thanks, man. You want to have a seat with me? I'm like, yeah. We sat in that booth and talked about comedy for about 45 minutes before he went up. And Jamie comes over, and Dane was like, hey, Jamie, you know Clayton? And he's like, oh, yes, I've seen Buddy. I've seen him down the stairs. And he's like, yeah. He's like, hey, Jamie, can I get a water? And then he gives Dane this big bottle of water, and Dane slides it to me.
Oh, my God.
And I was like, man, thank you. And from that moment, I was just like, I can never hate this guy.
Right.
Wait, question. Of those 45 minutes, how many of that were you talking?
Probably a lot, actually, with knowing Dane.
Yeah, it was a back and forth. Like, I talked to him about the stuff that I wanted to do comedically out here at the time, and he was telling me what his journey was before, his big breaks, and it was great, man.
I think that's a reasonable question for most celebrities, but Dane doesn't fall in that camp.
I got that from his podcasting. To where it's like you ask him 1 or 2 questions and he just goes.
Oh, really?
Yeah, and so I took that to be his personality.
Right. Yeah, interesting.
Was that him being a guest on a podcast?
Yeah, no, totally. And so he's just being the guest on the podcast.
Okay. So he's just like doing his job.
Yeah. Doing what he's there to do.
He on Marsh. Everybody's heckling him.
No, I've hung out with Dane plenty of times, and I almost feel like he speaks less than he speaks. In my experience, like it's almost like you want the Dane Cook on stage, who's like everywhere and like being like, and he's not that. He's very like, well, how are you, and what's new with you, and you're like, oh, I don't want to be deep at all.
Do you think that's why he does those 3-hour sets, because it's all builds up and then
from him being quiet,
his system? Yeah,
he has to get it out. I don't think he's done a 3-hour set in ages though.
Hopefully he got that out of his system.
Well, I think that was like a little ego
I think
thing.
the clubs beat that out of his
Also, if we're going to criticize Dane Cook about that, you got to criticize Dave Chappelle about that.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, yeah, because he's still doing
those are 6-hour sets.
Who did 6-hour sets well.
I was there for one of he did like a 4-hour joint. Because all of them don't get the press after you've done so many of those.
Yeah.
Man, he did one, and he had done like 4 hours. And at the end of the set, this is at the Laugh Factory, before I was regular. I've only been regular there for like 2 years. But this is years ago, and he finished his set, and he says, you know what? TMZ's always going, just hassling people. We should go and take a picture in front of TMZ. And a group of us went to TMZ across the street and took the picture.
That's hilarious.
And I was like, wow, this just happened. But
I love that.
It was like 15 people in the crowd because people, start leaving.
Yeah.
I'm like, man, I had never seen somebody do more than 2 hours on stage. And that was Maximini. He had done the longest time I'd ever seen live on stage. Yeah.
Dave was, I'm trying to remember, like, you remember LimeWire and all that stuff?
Oh, yeah.
There was something. Yeah,
How could you forget?
Yeah, well, LimeWire for people, the young people that are listening, like, it used to be just the first way to, like, rip things, and had really unreliable, like, titles, because, so it'd be like, here's Creedence Clearwater singing Going to the Chapel, and you're like, that's not accurate at all.
Yeah.
But so there was on LimeWire, there was like a 3-hour set from Dave Chappelle, like that was just recorded, like one of the comedy New York clubs.
Wow.
It was incredible. He was just like literally like he speaks like in comedic formula. So like he would like say something to the table, and be like, "What, you got some candy?" And you just hear the whole crowd laugh. Like that's not even a joke, but when you hear Dave Chappelle ask someone if they have candy, it makes you laugh. And they offered him some candy. He's like, "That's the nicest thing a white folks ever done for me." He goes, "No, I just want to soak this up." Like. There was no jokes. It was just literally he is such a funny
I'm more
guy.
surprised that you downloaded that off LimeWire and it wasn't secretly
Corrupted.
porn.
Man, that's incredible.
No, he just didn't find the porn in it. He
Well,
was done
yeah,
when he got to the
that's why it's 3
Chappelle.
hours long. Because I would like download something and then like open it and it'd be like, "Oh no!" Because I was like 10 too.
Oh,
so
yeah.
so I'm like, no. Like my mom's gonna like.
I
hear
didn't know
it.
you could. This is how naive I am. I didn't know you could get porn on LimeWire.
Well, that's
Oh,
what
yeah,
I'm
I got all of it.
I would like down like, oh, this is supposed to be like Batman the animated series season 1, and it would be porn.
Oh, really?
They trick me.
Well, I knew how to look for the porn. I'll tell you that.
Yeah, you typed in porn?
I was
Yeah,
doing porn like the old school way. I was using LimeWire for like music. I guess I just didn't know. Not that I'm above it. I just didn't know.
I did
Music,
both.
porn, movies. I
I didn't know you
miss
could get
LimeWire.
movies either.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, I got Spider-Man a week before it came out.
Really?
Allegedly.
Yeah,
we
for sure.
allegedly did all this, by the way.
Oh, that is a fact.
We
Oh,
allegedly
no,
did all
LimeWire sent
this.
me a letter. They know I did it.
LimeWire also gave me some pretty good viruses, I believe.
Yeah, of
Oh, I
course.
had a Mac. I'd never had
Oh,
those
that's a
issues.
good call.
Yeah.
Yeah, mine melted. It just
The
turned
whole
into a
computer.
puddle. No.
We were talking about movies before we got on. That's one fun thing about Clayton is I could talk to you about anything.
Man.
The second he came in our door, we were doing a mini podcast just downstairs in the living room,
I know.
just
I was
catching
like, I
up.
need to get this going. And my
It's-
computer
it's
was being a little
amazing.
slow, and I was like, no, I gotta get it going. We're talking. Like,
You love
missing good stuff.
all the comic stuff, and I don't know if we
Absolutely.
talked about. I watched Game Night.
What did you think?
It's great.
Okay, first, Jason Bateman is one of the greatest of all time.
Absolutely,
I
so
will
underrated.
fight anybody who does not agree with this
Have you seen
opinion.
Bad Words?
Yes.
Yeah,
that
so
kid
good.
was
So good.
amazing as well.
So good. The writing was just great.
Man, but it didn't do any numbers in the theaters.
Dark comedy.
But Game Night, one of the best comedies I've seen in about 4 years.
Is it on Netflix yet?
No.
No.
I don't even know if it's on DVD yet.
It must be. I
It
saw it
should
on a
be.
well, I guess
Yeah.
if you
It's
see it on a
probably on,
plane,
like,
doesn't
the
mean.
PlayStation Store and Xbox and stuff.
Yeah.
It's so because everything
On
gets
iTunes for
wrapped
sure.
up. Everything. Like they don't leave any holes. It all makes sense. And you low-key want a sequel.
Yeah. Well, I don't know if I want a sequel.
He's so big on movies. Like, you know, he walked in and asked me if he's the one who got me to watch Ozark season 1, and I haven't seen season 2
Oh,
yet.
you're the reason I'm watching all these Marvel
he's not-
movies,
yeah.
which I
But
think I've talked about that
Can we
on this
talk
before.
about last time we were all here watching wrestling?
Yeah.
And
What'd I do?
no. his lady was with him, and someone said that they hadn't seen Black Panther yet.
Yeah.
Oh,
She did not like that at all. No. She was very upset.
She was
Yeah.
like the Ravens in 2003.
And I know I'm a white guy, so it's not possible to be racist towards me, but
Man.
we could use the word bigot, can't we? Like, there was definitely some prejudice towards
There
me,
was
for
like-
sure.
Here's the thing, man. After you told me how you felt about comic book movies and how that just wasn't your thing.
Yeah, I'll start them and just go,
I went into defense overload with Jeff. So when she said it, I was like, oh, no. I'm like,
don't go down that way.
he's not that guy. Trust me. He's a good guy. But she, like most people of color, because I can't just say black people because other people love Black Panther.
We can just call those the Black Panther demographic.
There we go.
There we go.
Just say those people.
Yeah.
Well, no, it's like a
Yeah.
trigger.
Yes.
When some people say I'm not seeing Black Panther, when they say that, they're saying I'm not seeing it because it
Oh,
looks like
yeah.
a black movie.
Which is so. These comic book movies are so. All of them are fiction.
Right.
You know what I mean? Like, so there was so much outrage, like, oh, it's a black hero and this stuff, and this would never happen. I'm like, so Thor would happen.
Yeah, we're okay
exactly.
with someone coming from
Which is
outer space and
Thor is
shit.
the white Black Panther. So it's like when I watch all of those movies, I'm like, these are just
That's
good
an
time
interesting
movies.
statement.
Aaron
Oh, it's a fact.
disagrees.
Go ahead, Aaron.
I don't think Thor is the white Black Panther.
How don't you?
Well, how do you?
Oh, how do you? Okay.
Let's see how.
When you look at Black Panther, now I'm just saying this for this particular debate.
I'm so happy about
Black
this.
Panther is an all black cast, predominantly all black cast, and then you have them living in their own little utopia, their own little mecca, and things happen within that they have to control and fix.
I see where you're going.
Thor is the exact same thing. Asgard is its own little bubble. It's full of these certain type of people who could be space white. I will give you, and then
Space white?
They're definitely space and white.
white, and they handle it within their own little thing
They're
that nobody else
Scandinavian,
know
aren't
about. So now yours, sir.
My thing was that he's
Got long
coming.
hair.
Yeah. One is beautiful blonde
Not
hair.
anymore, not anymore.
No, but one is not of Earth at all. It's we don't even know exactly where galaxy that's from. This other one was just like, hey, there's more here inside Earth. We're hiding things within Earth. That's what made Black Panther special to me, opposed from the other ones. Just because he wasn't even from Earth, I don't even put Thor in that mix. In fact, I find Thor less interesting because he's not of Earth.
I find it more interesting.
I'm like that with Superman.
Thor character. What?
Superman does that for me, where I was like,
All immigrant superheroes I don't care about.
That is hilarious.
well, no, like Superman, like it's hard to get on board because I don't identify with him. I like
Taking our
a
superhero
scrappy guy who became a superhero, or he has some
Right.
sort of like flaws. Whereas like it's like LeBron playing in high school. It's like, yeah, against these scrubs, LeBron
Yeah.
is a god.
And the thing with,
But like
Exactly,
like
but that's
we would
not
see like
what I feel about Black Panther at all.
exactly.
but I think that and Superman gets a bad rap because like there's a lot of bad stories like that where it's hard to like because he's so like he's just a god and it's
He's
like but
invincible,
there is a lot
yeah.
of good ones when he can show a little more weakness. So
I
it's like
disagree. I agree with the beginning, but he's not a god. It just happens to be on this planet.
He's
This fictional planet of Earth. He happens to have even more enhanced powers.
well, okay. What's version of Superman do you think most people
Yeah.
know about?
No, there's only one version to know about, which is like this super all powerful. I was having this
No, I'm talking
conversation
about like
with.
specifically, like I think Christopher Reeve is like the most like.
Oh, you're talking about as far as
yeah,
people
like and people
identify-
know him the most.
Yeah, Christopher
and
Reeve.
he turned into be a god. Like he turned back time. Like they made him a
That
god.
was very
You know what I mean?
unrealistic, but
That's
yes,
what I'm saying. So that was like there's been bad
within the comic
adaptations.
book. Yeah, but this is
there's
what I
been good
mean.
ones too.
I was having this conversation with BT Kingsley because he is a Marvel guy, and I enjoy Marvel, but I'm a bigger DC guy.
Are you guys
I
good
love
friends?
DC. Yeah, he's my best friend.
I love BT.
So he is an asshole, and here's how. So he's like, I can get on board with everybody else in DC, but Superman, he's just like, he doesn't have any weaknesses. I'm like, well, let me stop you right there, brother. Number one, the red sun is his weakness. Also, kryptonite.
yeah, with
And
most
third-
famous weakness.
But that's the thing. But that's the thing.
People
is
use it as the measuring stick for weakness.
Yeah. But then-
like they'll be like, calories, that's my kryptonite.
Yeah, but there's even stories
Cheesecake.
where they made him
Cheesecake.
even invulnerable to that, where he eats kryptonite and now
Yes,
he's stronger.
but the
and it's
red
like
sun
that's why
has
there's
never
good.
been differentiated.
I know that's what I'm
And
saying. There's
people.
good and,
And they
bad
can put filters on
adaptations.
our sun to make the red sun. They did
Yes.
that in the Red Sun comic book where he was Russian.
Yeah, exactly.
Mm-hmm.
So he has three weaknesses: kryptonite, people, and the red sun. So because people always get, he's like,
That's my
"Oh."
kryptonite too, people. Ugh.
But these things are his weakness. Now, he did not grow up he grew up having the values of Pa Kent and his mother, which made him want to stand out against injustice and wrong.
Right.
So that's what made him want to be a hero, not just because he was born to be superior being of Earthlings.
So you love Superman.
Oh yeah, but I'm a bigger Batman guy. But I appreciate the shit out of Superman.
Yeah, Batman has no powers.
At all.
He's just a rich guy. A bat has more powers than Batman.
Than Batman.
Yeah, at least bats can fly.
and they have sonar.
yeah, like it's
If you don't write that down and say that on stage,
It's recorded. But that is true, right?
that is
like,
hilarious.
He doesn't have any
No.
super abilities.
He's extremely intelligent.
Yeah.
He's worked his body to peak physical
He's a
fitness.
straight white male with money. That's a superhero.
That
You
is
know what the
That's
least
power.
believable part of Batman is?
What?
Is that a man that cool and powerful and ethically sound and handsome would be into Maggie Gyllenhaal. Right?
Oh,
And
I
Harvey
did
Dent
not
was
see that
too.
coming.
Someone like Eric, they
It makes
too.
no
People
sense.
fight over her.
Yeah, it makes no sense. I was like, Batman, you could go get like a real model.
Yeah.
Or
He
even
has
if he
them.
did
But he
like
does. He does. He
Yeah.
brings models to dinner,
It's
but it's
supposed
to
to-
make her jealous.
It makes no sense. That's
Maggie.
horrible. That's a writing flaw right there.
Maggie Gyllenhaal, these are not the
Forecasting.
views
Forecasting.
of Clayton Thomas or
Yeah.
Jeff Dye.
Well, yeah, but if it came down to actually fighting somebody who also had superpowers, like you can have Maggie.
Wait, Clayton just separated himself from that argument.
Yeah.
But if you could hook up or hang out with or date or whatever term you want to use for this exercise, 20 actresses, would she even make the top 20?
No, but that's because
Top 50.
You know, and I'm gonna shock you. No, still, and I'm gonna tell you why. I'm gonna tell you why. This is not just looks, because I'm gonna bring up a very interesting point. I won't tell you she's in the show. She's in Ozark season 2, but she was also in Jessica Jones season 2. She played the mother in Jessica Jones season 2, and I do not know her name as an actress, but she plays so confidently that confidence has always been an attraction to women for me. So when I see a woman that is extremely powerful and confident, it makes her that much more attractive.
Right.
So my list of actresses have that skill of confidence, and I haven't seen Maggie play that.
Right.
Because I don't think she did as Rachel in
I think
Batman.
Maggie Gyllenhaal is a talented actress.
Absolutely.
I'll go on the record
Sure.
saying that. I just don't like when she's cast to be some bombshell. I'm like, no. If she was in Ozark season 2, would she play some backwater hillbilly's like older sister? I would be like, she's probably gonna knock this role out. It's gonna be great, because I'm not sitting there going, wait, why is Batman trying to get her? You know what I'm saying? Like that's when we're led to believe that, like when Katherine Heigl was like supposed to be everyone was like turning heads, and I was like, what?
But to even make it worse is she refilled the role from Katie Holmes.
I think that's what it was.
So then you're comparing them too, and
I think
even
that's
Katie
what it
Holmes
is.
isn't.
Right.
You know,
But she was
knock
the
her dead,
first
but like
for
she's, you know.
And we grew up with Katie Holmes. Katie Holmes was Wednesday. You know what I mean? From Addams Family, the new Addams Family.
What?
Yeah.
I didn't know that.
I did not
No,
know that.
I'm sorry. That's
Wednesday.
Christina Ricci.
Yeah.
I apologize.
Dawson's Creek, dog.
You're right. Did not watch Dawson's Creek, but technically we still grew up with her.
Yeah,
We
right.
grew up with her on
Wait,
Dawson's
you didn't
Creek.
watch Dawson's?
It's not Andre Dawson's Creek.
No, the joke that Chad just made is
Son of a
incredibly
bitch.
inaccurate to Clayton Thomas.
Oh, man.
This guy has seen every episode of Saved by the Bell.
That's a
Yeah, I
fact.
actually thought he was going to go into
recognized
Dawson's
Roger
Creek.
Dodge at a gas station
Blind date fame.
Yeah.
from the host of Blind Date. Like, he went up to him. Even Roger Dodge was like, what the hell?
Yeah. But it was, man, he's Roger Lodge. Like, listen, man.
Roger Lodge. Sorry. I said
Roger
his name wrong.
Lodge.
That makes it even more incredible that you didn't get the name right.
In the late 90s, you had this burst of dating shows. You had Eliminate, you had The Fifth Wheel, you had Blind Date, which
Next.
kicked it all off. Next.
That was my favorite.
There were so many MTV
Cheaters.
cheaters. Well,
That's kind of a dating show.
It's a game show where I come from.
It's a reverse dating show.
and he was the pioneer
Yeah.
of these dating shows. Like, you could talk about Love Connection in the early 90s, late 80s, but Blind Date. So when
Yeah.
I saw Roger Lodge, I was 12 years old again.
They're making Blind Date again on
Really?
on Bravo. Yeah, they're making like a
I wonder how
modern.
that's going to work. Is he going to be
Yeah, I
hosting?
also
It's
wonder.
not him. They got some.
It should be you, Clayton.
Some young upstart?
Should be you.
Well, yeah, they're trying to get
I
young.
would love to host Blind Date.
Really?
My agent would not let me. I will tell you that.
Yeah.
right
Well,
now.
that's the thing. My agents would not let me
Would
either.
not
That's how
allow
I
me.
know it's a thing.
Ah,
Wait, so you went to the Max? Speaking of Saved by the Bell, you went to the.
you
Saved
went?
by the Max.
not yet.
Oh, you haven't?
My tickets are for November, and I had to
Okay.
get them. When was that?
I wonder if they're surprised
It
that
was
it's this
like
popular.
June when we
Juan,
talked
yeah,
about
Juan.
this.
No, not even June. Juan sent. We're in a group text. We're in a group resident text thread, and Juan sent the link for it. And I want to say April, and the tickets went on sale in May. And I'm talking about the minute the tickets went on sale, they were already sold out until
I
November.
would have never guessed.
I know.
Man,
For
people
months.
love novelty, dude.
Well, also, why don't they just do this with all the sets then? Like, just sell
Watch it all
tickets
start
to
to
like,
happen.
Frasier. I mean, they have all that stuff.
yeah.
Frasier.
Oh, it's
Right.
so.
I want to have dinner in his radio booth.
Why not? In the cemetery, I just would recreate sets every week for all these different
Yeah.
movies. It's all out there.
Well, I
and
think
a
they
lot
did
of the
with
times.
the original Seinfeld set somewhere. I think that they did a thing where you could go.
Yeah, there was. I was only there for a weekend, but a lot of the times when I was looking for replicas of the stuff, calling the prop houses, they're like, "Oh, you mean the thing like from Goonies?" I'm like, "Yeah, like thing from Goonies." Like, we have the thing from Goonies.
Oh wow!
And it was cheaper and easier to find the actual pieces because no one's using them.
Right, they're just
Yeah.
sitting in
It
the
was
thing.
to
Yeah.
get
yeah,
replica.
take this out of our hands for a weekend, sure.
Yeah.
Exactly. And they're like, "Oh, yeah, perfect, $500."
Yeah,
I love
yeah,
Saved by the
great.
Bell. That I don't know if I've ever told y'all that I met Mark Paul Gosselaar.
Who's
so
that?
Mark, you son of
Zach
a
Morris.
bitch!
How dare you?
Wait, time out.
Oh, he's so quick.
Zach.
Okay, so this is Tone Bill had the show Truth Be Told with Mark Paul Gosselaar,
Okay.
right? And I called Tone. I said, Tone, listen, my mom's in town. And I need to meet Mark Paul Gosselaar.
Yeah.
So just telling you that. You
How
get a
cool
chance
is he
to
about
meet
it?
my
He's like,
mama.
yeah, no problem.
He's like, yeah, of course, man.
Come
He's
down.
like, I'll get you a walk on. I'm like, all right. And I hang up the
So
phone.
cool.
I'm screaming. And we get to the set. I see Tone, I give him this huge hug. Hey, this is my mama. And then she gives him a hug.
Where does
and
she live, by the way?
Detroit.
Okay.
So I said, listen, man, she's actually coming out here at the end of the month for the season 6 premiere of my show, Family Time. And we're going to do like this premiere party. She's going to be there.
Nice.
That's the only reason we're doing it, because she said she was going to come out here for the premiere.
Amazing.
I'm like, we're going to do a premiere thing. So I said, listen, Tone Bell, where is Mark Paul Gosselaar? And he's like, he's right through there. And I'm like, all right, cool. I'm like, is he cool, man? Like, I'm really hyped.
Right.
And he's like, yeah, just go say what's up. I'm like, cool. I go in, and my mom is right there with me. And we're sitting down watching the taping, and he comes over. He's like, hey, how are you guys? And she's like, I'm good. How you doing? And he was like, I'm good. So you guys are from Michigan? I'm like, yeah. Well, I live here. And she's just visiting. He's like, oh, cool. Yeah, I got some family. And as soon as he said, I'm going to be me. I want you to be Mark Paul Gosselaar.
Okay.
And I want you to say, yeah, I got some family.
Michigan, I've got some
Hey,
family.
can I take a picture with you, man? Like, it was literally that awkward, because I couldn't hold back anymore. I'm like, dude, cut the bullshit.
That's
I want
amazing.
this picture.
Give a fuck about
And
your
when I
family.
tell you,
Yeah, I'm not gonna like mid-Michigan story have some PA take you out of this room. I'm getting the picture.
because I didn't know how long I had with him.
That's a good
exactly.
call.
Time's ticking.
That was a
We
good
got
call.
the picture, and when I tell you, I wanted to be right next to Mark Paul Gosselaar, right?
Yeah.
My mom, he maneuvers himself to where he's next to my mom because he's feeling like, okay, she's the fan,
Right.
and not me.
Oh, nice.
So I'm over here 2 people removed from Mark Paul Gosselaar, and he kept his distance from the rest because I was so fucking weird, and I can't be mad at him. Man, I'm a big fan. It's
But that's
like,
just cool, man. Like I think I'd feel like that'd be like
How'd you do that but make friends with the Black Ranger?
oh, easy. Here's the thing, man.
The Black Ranger's cool.
Yeah.
I've heard he's
Well,
super
Mark
nice.
Paul is cool too. I totally made that weird. For anybody who's a fan of Mark Paul Gosselaar, he's not an asshole. I was just 8 years old.
Right.
So with Walter Emmanuel Jones, I met him at a comedy show in like 2010.
Perfect
So,
way to meet a person.
the best, because you get a chance to be yourself as a comedian.
You outfit the room already.
Right.
Yeah.
That's true.
Yeah.
So, because that's exactly how I felt. So I had this great set. I come off, and he was like, hey, man, you're really funny. And I screamed. I said, you're fucking sick. And he was like, yeah, man. I was like, man, can we get a picture? He's like, yeah, let's do it. We took the picture. We exchanged numbers,
Oh,
and
nice.
he just became my friend.
I heard he's a cool guy.
Man,
yeah.
he's the best. He's the nicest guy in the world. I just came back from Power Morphicon, which is the Power Rangers convention dedicated to Power
I didn't
Rangers.
know they did that.
Oh, every
Is it-
other year.
Is it big?
Huge.
Really?
Big enough that it's only every other year.
Well, there's a convention for
Because
lots
you
of
don't
stuff.
want to do it every
I know, I get
yeah.
it.
I'm always like impressed. Like if you like a thing, one of my favorite things about 2018. If you like a thing,
There's a convention.
you can find a community that also likes it and be in that and go to a convention. Like that's the best thing about 2018.
Where were they in like 2000?
Didn't exist.
Only Star Trek had it.
Which
And
that's the thing.
Everything
right?
else is comic.
I'm
convention.
doing a bit about this in my act, but like just we like talk about all the negative things about this 2018, but like these are some of the great things. Like you used to like my dad's age, like if you said you like Star Wars, they called you a fag and like threw you in a locker. Like you had to like secretly like Star Wars. You had to like closetly like
The
comic
most
books
popular
once
thing.
you're out of junior high. But nowadays you just like anything you want. I saw this like bodybuilder at the coffee shop this morning when I went, and he was wearing like a Mario t-shirt, and Mario's like from Mario 2 like jumping, like wearing a raccoon suit, and I was just like that. I love that. I love that this cool guy's like, nah, I like Mario. It's amazing.
And nobody's gonna say shit.
Yeah, so there's a Power Rangers exactly. There's a Power Rangers convention.
It's because Power Rangers has been on for 25 years in America. It's been on longer in Japan, but someone from every season of Power Rangers over the past 25 years was at this convention.
Nice.
And my favorite are Mighty Morphin Through Space, and then again with Lightspeed Rescue and Time Force and like all of these different places, and they were all there, and I got a chance to moderate a lot of the panels.
Oh, nice.
So I'm on stage with these guys. I'm talking to
You're
the
perfect
fans
for it
with
because you
It's-
liked it and you know what you're talking about.
Charismatic as shit.
What's
Thank
horrible when
you,
they just
man.
get like a host who's good at hosting but doesn't know the material.
Oh.
So they're like they're good at that job, but they're
Yeah.
not the right guy for that job.
Because they don't know the
Right.
people.
Right,
They're
yeah.
like, oh, and give it up for Walter.
Yeah.
What do you like? How dare you?
What do you want me to say?
Man. But I will say, as much as the Rangers loved having me moderate the panels, and the fans that were in attendance loved it, I kept getting pictures all weekend. Oh, you're the best moderator ever. I'm like, thank you. They posted the videos on YouTube.
Mhm.
One is the Forever Red panel, PMC 2018, and another is Blue Crew 2018. and the comments, they're killing me.
Why? Why are you reading the comments?
Also, yeah,
bro?
that's just YouTube in general.
That is YouTube in
exactly.
general. And I will shout out a lot of the fans who combated those comments like, hey, fuck you, he's great. Like, all that
But
stuff.
what could they possibly say?
This moderator, because what I did was, so we had a lot of Power Rangers on the panel. Let's say no less than 10 Rangers, right?
Wow.
When you have a line.
That's 2 Zords.
That is 2 Zords.
When you have a line of fans, they each want to ask the question that everybody has to answer.
Sure.
So, for example, it's like, hey, Jeff and Tony and you guys, I want to know, what do you feel is your favorite episode? And everybody answers. That takes so much time,
Fucking
and you
forever.
only have an hour for a panel.
Sure.
And that's counting people coming in for the panel and people answering questions and then the person on the mic. So I'll say, hey, guys, do me a favor. Whatever question you have your Ranger ready. And please, no group questions because that takes time. And I want to get to everybody's question because there's no worse feeling than getting in line and you can't ask your question.
Right.
Yeah.
And they're like, all right,
That's
cool.
a great moderator. Just that
Yeah.
attention
Man.
to like,
Because
it's
I'm a
thoughtful.
fan.
Yeah,
I
it's
think
thoughtful.
like
Yeah,
that. And I did that. I make sure I got to everybody's question. And the comments are like, yeah, I mean, what's the deal? I mean, I know other people want to answer a question, or maybe he had a group question that all answers, maybe he drove 8 hours to get that question. And the Rangers are like, dude, we get this fucking question every
Yeah,
time.
absolutely. Yeah.
I just, this is cool because it's different, but I don't want to answer, hey, what's your favorite episode? Because number one, they're non-union actors.
Right.
So they don't even want to think about an episode that's airing now that they're not getting paid for.
Right.
And two, they're like, fam, I'm an actor. I didn't really
I might
fight
not even
this monster.
remember a lot of those episodes. Yeah.
So they were, man, I read some of the comments. I'm like, let me close the
Yeah, you don't need to
You
do
don't
that.
gotta read any of that
Yeah,
crap.
no longer.
Okay, those are just
I
bitter
don't even read my
families.
tweet replies because of just so many idiots
Really?
are in there.
What
yeah.
do you, now, here's my question.
Too stupid.
Because my opinion of you is different than what I guess the Twitter people are. Like, ever since I met you, I'm like, man, this guy is, I feel like I'm 11 every time I'm with you.
Oh, that's so nice.
So
Thanks,
I'm like, man, I would assume the world is in love with Jeff Dye.
Well, no,
so
it's
what
just
are
like
your Twitter
people
like?
will try to reply to the joke, or they'll try to explain the joke, or they'll try to like, because people just think like, oh, he's a comedian, I'm gonna be funny too.
I hate that.
Yeah, or they'll like be like, I hope you're being sick, because like they list the K's, like in, this is one of the examples, in Major League Baseball for strikes. Every strikeout gets a K that's posted on the board. Most stadiums won't post until the pitcher has 4 Ks because you don't want 3 giant Ks hanging in the outfield. Like, it's a pretty big deal. So, and that's a lot of
big
stadiums
deal.
have thought of that.
Yeah.
They're like, don't, just once it gets his 4th, then we keep a tally.
Or if there's a backwards K, then it's...
And yeah, which is like if they got struck out looking, the K will be backwards.
Okay.
And so now nobody's going to make that affiliation. And so whatever. So stadiums have thought of that.
Did not know
Maybe
that.
not all of the stadiums have thought of it because I was at Dodger Stadium and the
or it could
pitcher
have
had...
fell through the cracks. Like
Yeah,
they're like,
just gotta put
oops.
it up.
Yeah.
So a guy puts up his 3rd strikeout and they just put K. It's huge in the outfield. And so I just take a photo of it and I circle it and I was like, this is inappropriate, Dodgers. Guy seems like a nice guy, but some kind of silly thing like that. All these people, like, I'm not sure if you're being silly or not, but this is a reflection of how many strikeouts there are. Major League Baseball considers a strike a K, and that's why. And I was like, I know, it's a stupid joke. Yeah. So because those annoy me so much, I just don't. I don't look at them.
I deleted my Twitter.
Yeah, I don't remember
Really?
what comic it was, but somebody said, until Twitter, I didn't realize my jokes had answers.
Yeah.
That's a great tweet.
That is.
Yeah. Well, that's actually, I don't know what.
There's some people that like talk on Twitter or like respond to something I'll post and it's like, it's great.
Oh,
But
really?
It's like few and far
It's
between.
rare. Yeah,
It's
the
few
one
and
person who
far
does that is Chad Denick, who's right here.
It's
right
really
now.
good. Well, I
Love
will
Chad
say
Denick.
also, like Instagram, I read those, and those are all like nice. Nobody's trying to be a smartass in there. It's
Yeah.
usually
Yeah.
people. Wait, so we were talking about Power Rangers.
Yes.
There was a guy named Jim Allen who was a very young comedian in Seattle. He like used to go to the open mics. He was a high school kid, crazy, maybe on the spectrum. I loved him so much. He was such a sweet kid. Like he'd come to the open mics with a white shirt that he wrote Abercrombie on with like a Sharpie.
That's hilarious.
Yeah, like I mean, he was just like a really weird kid.
Like trying to fit in or parroting Abercrombie.
Parodying, like making fun of it and just wearing
mean,
it to school and like just knowing like nobody.
Kurt Cobain style shit.
Nobody really
Can't be
likes
mad
me
at that.
anyways, so I'm just gonna, like he
Do what I
wasn't trying.
want.
He was definitely not trying to be cool. Anyways, but he used to have a bit about the Power Rangers. Like, who made the Power Rangers so racially like on like it was offensive how they cast
At first.
the Yellow
First
Ranger
season.
was
The first season.
Asian, the Black
Yeah.
Ranger was a black guy, the white was a white guy, the pink was a girl. It was like they were like way too on brand with that.
They made sure to kind of retcon that, like with a new movie, like they mixed them
Oh,
up.
they did. Oh yeah, I do remember that.
Yeah.
Well, and also that's my next question is: did you like the movie?
I love out of the movie. I give it a 7 out of 10, and the only reason that is because those who watch the original Power Rangers knows that Goldar is one of the greatest villains on Power Rangers, and he's
henchman.
But his rivalry with the Red Ranger and the Green Ranger could have had its own storyline, like it did in the show. But he did not have a face, and he did not speak. And somebody like Goldar's voice was very like this. It was very, you understand, like it stood out. Yeah. And so for them to have not had that, for them to have not have actually morphed, like saying their names of their dinosaurs, and for them to not physically teleport the way that we're used to seeing them teleport or whatever version, those 3 things took it down to a 7 for me. But I loved it. I didn't need a lot of action because it was the origin story.
Sure.
But I did enjoy, and I even RJ Kyler. I've never had, is it Siler or Kyler RJ? Man, anyway, he's a very good friend of mine. He's like a little brother. He played the Blue Ranger. Nice. And he's such a talented actor. He's literally doing like 8 projects at once right now. He's on this show Jim Carrey's producing. I'm Dying Up Here. And he's in the new movie White Boy Red. Like he's doing so many things, just like all the other Rangers. But 7 out of 10 for me. And he was the saving grace because he was so great in the movie.
I thought it was fun. I liked the movie a lot. I liked that when like you first see them in their uniforms or whatever. I like popped so big. I was like, oh, and then everyone's like, that was in the trailer. You didn't see like the poster for this movie, and I was like, no, I don't watch trailers, so this is like a real moment for me.
I don't like trailers anymore
because it took a while for them to put on to get their suits to work.
Right, that's like what the movie's about. It's like them becoming the Rangers,
and that like slow motion like scene of them like walking like that.
It was great. And like the whole time you're waiting, I'm like, when is he gonna say it?
Yeah.
When is he gonna say it? And then it's like they're finally at their like edge, like we have to morph or we're gonna lose. And then he's like, it's morphin' time.
So
because you gotta think when you look at the Rangers, the Power Ranger TV show, first episode, if you ever go back on Netflix, they became Power Rangers so fast.
Yeah, like 5 minutes.
That the movie had to be like, all right, let's reimagine this.
Right.
Let's be realistic. How would it happen if they actually got these powers?
No one's going to the movie to see it be realistic.
It's
no,
more
but I don't like
no.
that argument.
Just give
and
it
actually, I think that you understand that more than anyone. Like Frank Miller is great because he grounded Batman in reality.
Super grounded.
Mm-hmm.
That's what like Batman before that was kind of like this hokey kind of like.
We love Michael Keaton though, but yes, very hokey.
But it was like I'm the Freeze, and like it's like all right, it's fun, but. Like Frank Miller was able to make it go like this could maybe happen, maybe. I mean, it's a little far fetched, but we're finding a way to justify it.
Right, and they didn't shy away from it being far fetched, but like it gave an origin. Like it's always just like in the original show, it's like they're just like, all right, I need teenagers. Those 5.
Yeah.
Right.
But this was like they stumble upon it accidentally.
Well, there's almost like teamwork message in it too that I really
Absolutely.
appreciated. Like they're trying to bicker and all that stuff, but then they kind of like they realize.
I have a
Don't
question.
judge.
How did you feel about them? Because this kind of bugged me.
Okay.
When they had the things, I don't know what they're called.
The power stone.
Sure.
Coins,
Even when they just had them on them, they were super.
Yes.
Instead of actually morphing, because they would jump super high and super far, but that wasn't a thing in the show.
No,
they had to morph to actually kick ass.
Here's the thing: about them actually having those powers, they took a lot from different seasons of Power Rangers. Because later in the 25-year history of Power Rangers, there was a season where the Rangers, just as soon as they became Power Rangers, as far as you're going to be red, you're going to be yellow, you're going to be this, they had powers
like
without
Spider-Man
them being
style.
morphed. Yeah. So they took that and put that in the movie, and it's like, okay, you're going to also have these super strength and super speed when you're not morphed.
But then it just made the one thing that then I was like, well, then why do they need to morph?
Oh, because you need to be protected. But the thing they did that was different was they made their costumes come out of their skin instead of them turning in, like putting something on. It's like, I'm always morphed.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It was cool.
I liked it.
They made that one girl lesbian, right?
Oh, they definitely made her a lesbian.
And that's a new. They switched that.
Were they really open about it?
Yeah,
pretty much. Yeah, and then
I think a guy flirts with her, and she's like, "I'm not."
And then I like that RJ, like they didn't really do it on the nose with the Blue Ranger, but like he's
autistic.
on the spectrum. Yeah, he's on the spectrum.
Yeah, they did that for sure.
Yeah, and I'm like, that's cool too. What? That's really cool too.
Yeah, they basically made it like he was being bullied at school because of it.
Yeah.
But the one guy was a good guy and didn't judge him for it.
It was very updated. Like that's it, man. Power Rangers. If there are any racists, like if you could just watch Power Rangers, your views will change because you start to interact with these different people other than yourself. You get a chance to see what life is like for somebody. You have to use teamwork. You have to believe in not bullying. You have to believe that you're good enough, that you can believe in yourself. Like there's so many different messages within Power. Don't litter, like shit like that you just grew up thinking about.
Man, I saw that movie at like 11 a.m. on a Wednesday when it came out, like 2 weeks after it came out. And this dude, God bless him, came into the theater by himself to watch it. Full on Red Ranger suit.
Love that.
All by himself too.
Yeah, and 2 weeks after.
Yeah. So I want to know how many times he'd seen it at that point. I like to think
he saw it a lot.
Yeah, guarantee that was.
And he's just like, no, this is how the world should be. We should be getting along.
And it felt like he told all of his suits, like, you're all gonna get a turn watching this
movie. Because it felt like, because I saw the Chinese theater, so I was like, he definitely came. He's like, I'm not taking any pictures right now.
Oh yeah.
And he's like, I'm gonna go watch it.
I love that.
Or he took pictures. He's like, all right, I made $13, just enough for a ticket.
That's so funny.
But I was like, oh, okay.
I would have made him sit next to me.
Props.
We're in this together.
Yeah,
that's right.
I do like that kind of any movie that like has that message, no matter how corny it is, whether it's for kids or families or whatever. Just like the idea that it's like somebody had a great bit about it. I don't remember who it is. Might have been Al Madrigal or somebody used to have a bit. No, it doesn't matter. But there is a comedian with a bit about how like the best thing that would ever happen to mankind is if aliens attacked, because then we'd have to just be like, all right, let's forget about what all this bickering and like band together.
What we think our problems are.
Yeah, because we sit around getting mad at some white idiot chick who's 19 at Coachella for wearing an Indian hat. Like, but we lose our minds about it for weeks and try to, instead of just being like, she's an idiot at a music thing. Like, let her, like, I don't know.
Honestly, I know Baron Vaughn had a really good...
Baron Vaughn. That might be it. That's exactly what it is.
And then it ends with space N-words. But it's great.
Oh, you know when I look at... man, it was right when you said that a comedian had a bit, white people this... Oh, you ever go to... you know when you go to a different country?
Yeah.
You never feel more connected to other Americans than when you're in another country.
Yes.
Because you're like, oh, you speak English? Oh, thank God. Hey, man, where are we going to get food?
Patrice has the best bit. He's like, man... In America, like I don't mess with like many white people, but he's like, if we're in like Germany and I see like an America, he could have like KKK. We the same. We Americans.
Because if it goes down, they got them and we got to have us.
Yeah, it's so fun.
It's the best, man.
Yeah.
I love being in a different country and seeing another American. No matter what state they're from, it's just like you immediately have that bond. And unfortunately,
can you spot them
when you
before they open their mouth? You're like, Dallas Cowboys shirt, gut.
No, you know
I'm
what?
an American.
It's not even about clothing. When I'm in a different country, I can tell somebody is American a lot of times by bone structure. Really? Like when you look at like a lot of Russians and Africans and obviously Asians, like they just have different bone structure than us. So when you see their faces, I'm like, okay, well, she's from here. Okay, he's from, oh, hey, man, are you from America? And he's like, yeah. And I'm like, I knew it. Like, I'm really great at that. I can spot.
Should have been an anthropologist, man.
Man.
We were talking about a different movie, but I can't remember what it was. Something that just came out.
Happy Time.
Happy Time Murders? Was it Happy Time?
Oh, have you seen it? Yeah, because Aaron's seen it.
I said save it for the podcast. Happy Time Murders.
Happy Time Murders. Well, first of all, let's back up. Now, as much as I am a huge fan of comic book movies, I saw Deadpool 2. It was great. I'm a huge fan of Ryan Reynolds, so there is not a movie that he will do that I will not see.
Okay.
But
including Green Lantern is what that means.
He's a DC guy, so I know
I know, but Green Lantern is a black guy, in my opinion, and then they gave it to Ryan Reynolds.
Well, it's a white guy, too. It's a white guy, too.
It's a whole core. They have a lot of different...
Okay.
But
also a pig.
The only comic that I had of Green Lantern as a kid was, I guess as a teenager, was the Black Green Lantern. So I thought
John Stewart.
I thought that was...
there's a whole council.
No, this was Hal Jordan.
But there's other ones?
The cartoon Justice League it was like, that's what, I didn't even know there was a Black Green Lantern until I saw the cartoon. I'm like, oh, I like the reimagining of these characters. And that's what I wanted to see on screen until I heard Ryan Reynolds was doing it. I was like, I got to see him, but I would have rather he played Flash because he's a better Flash.
Right.
I digress. When I saw Deadpool 2, the trailer for Happy Time Murders played, and it was so funny that the movie Deadpool 2 could not follow Happy Time Murders.
When I saw Deadpool, the audience popped so hard for that trailer.
Yes.
More than any joke in the movie.
Yeah.
And I couldn't believe how much people were laughing at that trailer.
So basically,
it was
guest
crazy.
set buried the headline.
Yes.
Absolutely.
I was like,
That's
man,
exactly
people
But
were
that
falling
guest
out.
set was Happy Time.
Yeah,
We probably in the same theater, didn't even
and
know
then
it.
you went to go see Happy Time Murders.
And it lived up to the trailer.
You liked it.
Oh.
Okay.
Oh, before Happy Time, the funniest movie that I had seen was Game Night.
Oh, now Happy Time Murders.
Come on, man. You
Really?
have to go see it.
I'll go
It's
see
that
it now,
funny.
but on that, what is it called? Recommendation.
Man.
Aaron did not have the same
I
opinion.
did not like it.
What? You didn't like it?
I did not
He
like
loves
it.
Muppets.
And I'm a huge Muppet guy.
Maybe that's
Anyway.
why
Yeah, that's what I'm
you didn't
thinking.
like it.
Yeah.
What?
No, it's because I'm a fan of jokes. I love jokes so much, but the jokes to me were so pedestrian. There were so many pedestrian jokes. I feel like a non-comedian wrote it. There's not enough
Like a screenwriter,
mixed
maybe?
perspective. Yeah, and that shouldn't have been because those puppets speak in punchlines and these puppets didn't. Because the punchline was like, oh, look,
gotta
this
give
is brought to you by the
Chad
letter F and the letter U. And you're like, yeah, we all know that joke. This
Right.
is the joke we made when our parents left the room during Sesame Street. And every joke was that. There was 5 great jokes. There's 5 great jokes, but there's 800 bad ones.
Listen to me. First of all, I appreciate you saying the FU remark. That's not in the movie, by the way, so that's not a spoiler.
Okay, well, I guess that's
just
No,
a fictional
clever.
joke.
With you're on anything, Jeff. Spoilers go out there. I don't care about spoilers.
Listen, man, that movie is hilarious.
Okay.
It's
Good.
so funny.
How did it do?
I don't know.
That's what
I
I'd
would
love to
assume
know.
a rated R comedy probably didn't do well.
Right.
I'll look it up. I'll tell you what I know what it was at Rotten
well,
Tomatoes.
isn't
What was it?
Deadpool's a rated R comedy that did great?
But you're
That's
also
different.
adding,
Oh, yeah,
science
people already
fiction.
love the Deadpool too.
Part
was-
1 had a bigger mountain to climb than part 2.
It was 17% on Rotten Tomatoes.
I don't even fuck with Rotten Tomatoes.
Yeah, me
man.
neither.
Yeah, you say that
But
now.
what's the money? What did it make in the box office?
19 million.
Is that good? I don't know.
Up to date?
I know nothing about if that's
It
good.
depends on what the budget was.
It's not. Well, I mean, for a rated R comedy, again, you're not expecting
Yeah,
it to get 500 million open a weekend like Avengers, but
Tell me the budget.
That's what I'm got to look up now.
Oh, cool.
budget was probably pretty low.
Man, I want to know so much more about your family after we get off air. But it's
Oh,
like,
yeah, there's so much there.
Oh,
because
I've got
like
a
this is
lot.
what it is. Imagine
They don't listen to this. We can talk about it on air.
Imagine every time your family's brought up, you and Aaron know, Tony knows, I'm sure you know, and it's like, it'll come up for a second, and then something will happen, and then you get off of it, and I'm
yeah.
like, I want to know more.
Yeah, what is the origin story of Aaron and Jeff?
Oh yeah, you were saying so much, and I watched Clayton. And just like, wait, hold on, wait, no, hold on,
Yeah.
hold on, wait, hold on.
My family's very weird. Wait, what are we looking up over there?
The budget.
The budget for the movie is 40 to 47 million. It gave a fucking estimate, so we'll give it 43 million, and it's still at 21 million.
Yeah,
right
but
now.
how long has it
It's
been
only
out?
been 2
Less.
weekends.
Yeah.
It's been out for about 3 weeks, but I know that it was going to have a significant drop off because Crazy Rich Asians.
Now that,
Well,
did
yeah,
you see that?
it couldn't.
Why is that gonna? Well, I don't
Well,
understand.
that was like did
That's like
really
a hit.
well.
Because
Yeah.
it's sucking up all the other movies.
Yeah.
Oh, but I thought Crazy Rich Asians was a TV show.
No, it's a movie.
I thought it was like a reality show where they follow some Crazy Rich Asians. What is the?
That's actually not a bad idea.
I imagine it would be
That's
work great.
not a bad-
That's what the Kardashians are. Crazy
Yeah.
rich Persians, right?
Yeah.
That's the show.
Yep.
That's
Crazy
the
rich
show.
person.
It's not crazy talented Persians, I'll tell you that. It's just some rich ladies that are very attractive.
They
They're
are
rich.
very rich and attractive.
Yeah.
Crazy Rich Asians is a very good movie. One thing that somebody brought up to my attention was, why did they not speak in their native tongue?
Right.
And I'm like, oh. But then I realized it's like they wanted the universal appeal, and not
Money.
everybody's going to read
They wanted money.
subtitles. Yeah.
Was it a script? Like it was a scripted movie?
Yeah.
Okay. And the premise is like Love Actually, except with the like what's this?
I've never seen Love Actually, but I'll tell you this. The premise was poor girl. Well, not poor girl. Well,
So
poor
it follows
girl.
one couple then.
Yes, their
Oh, okay.
storyline and then his family.
Okay.
So it's like this girl who's from here. She's actually Chinese, but she speaks the language, but she's not affluent as his family is. She doesn't even know that his family is affluent.
Right.
And then she goes over there for his friend's wedding, and then she meets his family and friends, and she doesn't feel worthy enough
because he's wealthy.
Yeah.
Okay.
And so many other things, and you'll love it from there. It's
and
it's
good.
Yeah, it's very relatable.
Oh, okay. Interesting.
Very relatable. No matter what race or background you're from, you can find something to relate to in it.
Interesting.
That's what makes a movie good.
You like rom-coms.
You know
I feel like you like everything.
opposed.
That's one of the great things about it.
One thing I do not like is straight horror. I love suspense, but a straight horror movie.
This guy loves Dolph Ziggler and The Miz.
Yeah, I saw that click in your head.
The Miz is one of the greatest wrestling personalities.
Have you seen Miz and Mrs.?
I haven't because it's not on Hulu yet.
Oh, I see. I was going to say that might change your opinion.
I can't wait to meet The Miz. I want Ziggler, who I'm a huge fan of, to introduce me to The Miz.
Here's a hot take. I met The Miz
and
I blew it.
I
blew it. I didn't know what to say because I know I've talked so much trash about The Miz. So I and the universe were having a conflict of like, remember all those things you said, Jeff? You know all the trash you talk every week? You know the whole if he broke his leg, I wouldn't care. Speech you're telling people.
Here's your receipt.
Exactly. It was like the world was throwing that all back at me, and then the girl that's walking me around the upfronts is like my kind of for the day publicist. She's like, Mike, this is Jeff Dye. He's a big wrestling fan. He has a TV show on NBC, and I got befuddled. And that rarely happens. I usually am pretty good at like.
I've never seen you like that.
Yeah,
so
and
shocked.
I go, hey, oh man, oh dude, I was you for Halloween, and I just looked like I was trying to find something positive to like, and so I'm like rummaging through my phone trying to photo of me on Halloween, but I knew the only way I'd find it quickly because I take so many photos is like to go to my Twitter, and like it's on my Twitter here somewhere, and he's just sitting there looking at me like, why would I care that you dressed up as me on how? And I was just like rambling. I was like, anyways, dude, keep doing what you're doing. Like I didn't know what to do, and so I just totally blew the whole thing. But that day I met New Day, which was awesome. I met Shawn Michaels, who was awesome. I met Mark Henry, who was awesome, and I met Triple H and Stephanie, which was great. It didn't. I like almost immediately forgot that I just blew it.
Well, imagine how much worse it would be if he was like, "Oh yeah, I know who you are," and like,
if he
heard everything.
But then I could go, you're right, and we could have like a real moment, and be like, you know what, I hate your character. I'm just buying into the whole heel thing, so I'd lie, is what I'm saying.
Yeah.
The New Day feels like what it must be like to be a sibling of twins. You know how like when you see twins and they're extremely close and they get the connection, and then you're just their brother.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So every time I see the New Day, I feel so outside the box. I'm just like, hey, what's up, y'all? Hey, what's going on?
Yeah. They give you some pretty good videos too. They were working with you a lot. Yeah.
It's like you want to hang with them, but you're like, I feel like y'all wouldn't.
They're already a clique. They're already doing their own thing.
They got their friendship already.
I am a big fan of the New Day breaking up because I like New Day, but I feel like we've had it long enough.
Yes.
I want them to break up and then have solo careers.
Yes.
Where you could be like, oh man, Biggie is the champ now, but he used to be in this group called New Day and they were wildly popular and he's still friends with those guys. Kind of like the Shield where they could come back for some like help, but then like go like, why do they have to be the mascots
of WWE?
Yeah, just think about that. That'd be
money.
great. Like the way that the Shield comes back. Like
they look like Nickelodeon.
If they all broke up, but then like
they just help each other.
Something happened where it's like Big E's getting jumped by people, and then they slowly find their way back.
Right.
It would pop. It would.
Or
go
if they
huge.
just help each other. Like Big E, he might be doing his own thing. That doesn't mean he's not friends with Xavier Woods.
Right.
So he could run out and be like, "No, man, that's still my guy. Like you don't get to beat up my guy." But that doesn't mean they're necessarily back. But then they could kind of tease that maybe it's gonna be back. Like,
be great.
From my sources, which are pretty reliable lately, they're never gonna break up. And they're just gonna do it forever. Like they're happy.
Like LOD was happy to be together forever.
Well, they're all happy to all be together. They want they don't want no solo careers.
They're still over. They're still making money. And,
But it's like I still like Big E has the potential to be a champion.
They can still do that without them breaking up.
No,
they can.
I would love one of them to have some solo run.
Yeah,
Kofi ain't gonna do it because he had his chance beforehand.
Yeah, he did, but there's no reason that one of them couldn't be the Intercontinental.
They could all speak now. I think the thing before the New Day got together was the fact that none of them had great mic work.
Right.
And now
they're
all
all
of them equally. Yeah.
How funny was the King Booker coming out?
Yeah, that was great.
And he does the whole Game of Thrones kind of like cadence, and he says Xavier the Wise, and Kofi the Brave, and Big E. That is so funny to me. Yeah. And Big E's like, what? What are you doing?
He sold it.
No, you already had, because they're using real names. You already had Big in your name. Oh, that writing. I don't know who wrote that or who came up with that, but it made me laugh so stinking hard. And then also, there wasn't like a weird conflict. It was like a momently flare up, and then they do the dance and all.
5 times. Because before Booker T came out, I was like, are they going to do this without referencing Booker T? And then they reference Booker. I'm like, perfect.
It was weird that the audience popped as hard for Booker as they did, given that he's there pretty often.
Yeah.
Yes.
It's in a different capacity.
Yeah. Because it's like when
just hearing his music's a pop.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, people just love him so much. Sure. But just the idea of
Booker
like
T.
He's earned it.
Right.
Yeah, he's earned it.
Man, I met him at a con. I met him at Comic-Con San Diego 2 years ago. And I was like, he's your height, I believe.
Oh, really?
Yeah. But
he's
just
so
like,
chill, man. On his on the podcast, I listened to like some podcasts where they're talking about like why Big Cass got fired. And it was like more speculation than anything. That? It's more speculation than anything, but it was like Booker T's thoughts on Big Cass. And like from everything that's online, it's like, oh, Big Cass was like a Trump guy. And Big Cass had like all these kind of like whatever opinions backstage that might have not been as popular with other wrestlers and blah, blah, blah. But Booker T, you think would for sure be like, man, you can't do that. And also he's being a Trump guy. Like you'd think that, and he didn't. He was like so like level-headed about it. He was like, there's different cats back there. And I remember like being like, wow, like wow. You don't want to shoot on that? Like you don't want to say like, I think that's a safe thing to say you don't align. Like it was interesting. But it also made me respect.
I want to hear not just so much about Big Cass, but I want to hear the truth of how they feel about wrestlers who are still in the company that aren't getting pushes.
Right.
You know what I mean? Like for me, you just brought him up, Kurt Hawkins.
Yeah.
Kurt Hawkins, his mic work is tremendous.
Sure.
And he came back rebranded perfectly, but they have him as a jobber.
Right.
And I'm like, dude, he could go so far with this character.
I wonder if it's a Seinfeld thing where they're like, what if the jobber was the character? Do you know what I'm saying? Like, and they thought that'd be genius, and it was very funny, but it didn't work really.
Yeah.
Well, and then you're just waiting for the day he's gonna get a win someday, and they got to build up to it.
I hope it's WrestleMania.
Yeah, but they got to do it. They got to do it right, not do it like
anything at WrestleMania. People would go nuts.
Also, I'm sorry that this became a wrestling talk, but
come on, man, this is all we talk about.
Have you seen the Authors of Pain? They now have the 205 Live general manager as their manager.
Yeah.
How weird is that?
Drake Maverick.
They shouldn't have fired their original manager.
I don't think they should fire him.
Does make sense.
But also, Drake Maverick does not look cool in that uniform. It looks so weird.
I think that was just for this. Hopefully,
he'll stay in the suit.
I didn't see the segment.
Hopefully, that's just.
But I hope it's like that.
He came out.
This is Raw, right?
This is yesterday.
Yeah. I missed Raw.
He came out in the same gear that the Authors
I saw
of
the
Pain
picture.
were.
It looks funny.
Tactical.
And it looks like when they used to do, like when they used to take like little people and make like a mini Rock or mini Booker. Like it looked like that. You're like, why would he put that on? They're like giant cool guys.
What's the guy? He's on SmackDown, Sanity. I don't know his name, but he looks like Gilbert.
Eric Young?
Yes. He's the guy.
Fun.
He looks like, I was like, is that Gilbert?
That's
How dare you, sir?
And it's not Gilbert.
Eric Young has had a very accomplished
Gilbert's
career.
never taken a bump in his life.
Jeez.
Man.
Eric Young, former heavyweight champion in TNA.
They're getting watered down. Like when they came in, they were supposed to be just like Welcome to the Wasteland.
The Ascension.
Oh
like
my
they're coming
God.
in, they were supposed to be so. We're
If I
taking
was
over
the
the
Ascension,
roster.
I would quit from WWE, flip them off, and like just go work the indie circus. How they stuck them with Breezango for like ages, so they had to be like goofballs when that's the total opposite of their gimmick. Their gimmick's supposed to be like, we're the badass version of like Demolition from back in the day, and we're huge. They're huge. Did you see that? I don't know the name of the guy, but the bigger one of the two standing next to Braun Strowman, and they were like pretty much the same size. Yeah, like he's a giant. And then I don't know. They're just treated like jobbers in a lot of ways.
But they would have gotten over if they kept Breezango together. First of all, they should have never left SmackDown to go to Raw. And then Fandango got hurt. Anyway, but the Ascension would have been over, which they were, but then they kept having them lose matches.
Yeah.
You can be a comedy act as long as you're winning.
Right.
That's why we wanted to see Breezango at least hold the titles, because they had won us over
Look
week
at the
by
B
week.
team. The B team is a comedy act that has the belts, and we love it.
Well,
I love it.
I love it.
The B team
Well, they don't.
is only
They
great.
lost the titles.
Thanks for that. Not caught up on Raw yet, but
It's
appreciate
your fault.
you.
It's not
Rivers.
mine.
You son of a bitch.
Tony,
You're gonna be
Reavis.
happy. Don't
By
worry.
the time this airs, you'll be caught up on Raw.
I will-
Yeah.
Yeah.
So when you look at
Don't listen to this until you're caught up in Raw.
Yeah.
what was the Breezango, Fandango? They left SmackDown.
They would've been
on
over.
Raw. Yeah, they would have been. I lost it.
Ascension.
You said you
Yeah.
could be a comedy act as long as you're winning, and then I said, look at the B team.
Yeah, because they got hot from being the Miztourage.
Absolutely.
Man, I want Miz. First of all, everybody needs to know that I need the Miz to win the title at either Survivor Series
Okay.
or Rumble,
Why?
because he's the greatest
The title?
heel. Yes, I want him to win WWE title off of AJ. I feel like I would love Samoa Joe to be the champ, but I feel like if he becomes the champ, the Miz is not going to get that title until a face beats Samoa Joe, and that's another 6 months from now, maybe.
Right.
I need him to be the next heel champ.
I want Miz just gone.
What?
I've came around on your Dolph Ziggler. I like Dolph Ziggler now.
I'm falling off.
I have flopped.
You've fallen off on
I'm
him.
falling off.
I've fallen off on Dolph.
I've only given
and
him a
come
fair
around on the
shit because
Miz.
you guys like him.
He's amazing. I like him as a face. I thought I loved him as a heel, but I remember I became a huge fan once he cashed in. But
Okay.
keep going with your point. You don't want the Miz.
Yeah, I don't want the Miz, but I love that they made. It's not really a point. Just I love that they made the Miz or the B team turn on the Miz.
That was great.
Where they're like, no, we're not. We're the B team. We're not rooting for you. B stands for Brian. We're going for Daniel Bryan.
That's for Brian.
It made me so
Everybody
happy.
turns on the Miz.
It's great.
Alex Riley, when he turned on the Miz, who should be a way bigger, he should be back in WWE and killing. But anyway, Alex Riley, I'm saying his real name, but the stunt double, his character's name of Miz the stunt double.
Sandow.
Yeah, Mizdow. Mizdow was great when he turned, and now the B team.
I'm waiting for Marsh to turn. You know?
Never.
Why?
Because she's his wife. She turned it inside out for him.
She knows him better than anything else.
Turned inside out.
Yeah,
for
Aaron
him.
went crass. I like that Tony just gives you an eye roll.
What's there to
your
say?
guy?
What is there to say anymore? You know, because I don't know. I don't know.
Do you like The Miz?
I don't hate him.
But you don't like him.
I wouldn't. The only reason I'd want him, like I see him winning the title, is like because then Brian will take it off of him. But
I like that.
that's like the only thing. But
That's
I
good,
don't-
right?
I don't know. He's not.
What do you think about
My
the
guy.
Bella twins being in wrestling again?
Ugh, don't.
Yeah.
Don't. And it's not the thing. But like they almost killed themselves last night.
Yeah, they're not good.
And it's like, oh, no, I don't need it anymore. I don't need
I
it.
barely want to see them in leaked porn tapes.
Oh jeez.
Oh boy.
They got
What?
link porn thing?
No,
Yeah.
no.
Oh,
No, I see. Well, what I was gonna say is
Something
like
to pique your interest.
Yeah, that's
it
definitely.
is confusing that like it's all, I got to think from the perspective of the Bella twins where they were like, oh, you know, women's wrestling is like huge. It's like getting huge.
Well, I
and
think-
like we kind of started that. And you're like, no, you started like you were female wrestlers and you started like the reality show side of it.
Well-
but just because they're great wrestler, that's why people started turning on because they're like, oh, these girls can actually, they're wrestling. And now the Bella twins are like, we'll wrestle. And you're like, no, you're not.
Yeah, but I don't think that's the story.
Okay.
I think it's that they're doing this female pay-per-view and they want to honor them by letting them be a part of it because they were there when female wrestling was still just models messing around and they were kind of part of that, but they grew into becoming a part of what
They
it
were
is
in
today.
a middle phase.
Yeah, and they stuck it out and like became a part of. They were a part of that phase, but they're also a part of the more recent phase too. So it's just
Is that theory proved to be true?
give them a chance at the.
If they stop, if they continue to wrestle after this all females thing.
No, I guarantee you they won't. But
Okay,
that's the
you
same
guarantee-
reason.
then that's great.
That's the same reason as that's the
deal with
same
that
reason
bullshit.
why
Stratus.
at the pay per view.
I'm fine with that.
That's the same reason at the pay per view. Lita has a match and Trish Stratus has
And
a
Trish
match.
Stratus came out
They
and
also
drawn.
don't have a lot of women, unfortunately, that have big enough names because they keep having to go
Right, they got to
backwards.
sell tickets too.
Yeah, you got to sell them tickets, man.
So
Well, then that's great. I'm fine with that. I get that's
yeah,
the
they're not,
best
don't
reason
expect them.
possible.
I don't expect them to stick around.
You better be right on this, Tony.
But if they want to, it's okay.
Nikki shouldn't because of her
Neck,
injuries.
yeah.
But Brie is like, I feel that once you have a baby, this is the interesting thing about Maurice, because Maurice and Miz are on the road so much and they, they might have a babysitter or bring the baby with them. It's like when you got a brand new baby, somebody has to be able, I just feel like you've changed as a woman after you've had your kid and maybe you don't have the carelessness that you had before in the ring where you'd be like, oh, I can do whatever. Now you're like, oh, I have to protect myself. And even with that, now you're wrestling differently against your opponent, and that might not be fair for the delivery of,
like, wrestling scared kind of.
Yes.
Like,
yeah. And, I just wouldn't want to see them not be able to give their all. But I enjoy Bree's music, but I hate when I see the women of men stealing their style and their gimmick. Like I always tell Tange, my wife, we'll be telling a story to somebody and she'll start doing my voice. And she'll like hit a punchline like me and I'm like, what are you doing? And she's like, what? And I'm like, you just did one of my inflections.
She's like, facts.
You know what I'm saying?
You stole my essence.
You stole my essence. And then she was like, I don't know what you're talking about. I'm like, you're being me.
I did it twice today with Brian Regan. And I was mad at myself.
For stealing them?
Yeah, I didn't address it, but I was like, ever. Like while I was telling a story, that's straight from a Brian Regan bit. And the other one, what was it? And
it was an act out of carrying something. I forget what it was, but
a tire.
Yeah. And you're like,
yeah, it was really weird. And in my mind, I was like, I just did Brian Regan twice in one day. I hate myself.
I think with wrestling though, like there's so many cogs in the machine too. Like, seeing people do I'm sure there's so many people telling like, hey, when you get out there, do the yes chant. Like I'm not sure she's like, hey, I'm gonna do this. Like I'm pretty sure.
She had gimmick before though.
I know,
it's not like she wasn't over.
It's not, but it doesn't matter. What is the thing that happens all the time? Even when Daniel Bryan's not in the ring, anytime anyone's like, do you want to see a title match tonight?
Well, Tony, I think,
are like, yes,
I think
yes,
you're right, and he's right for hating it. It's just something he doesn't like.
Yeah, it's true. I don't want to see Miss Elizabeth say, oh yeah.
I know. I'm just saying.
Because it's
I'm saying I get it too. I'm saying like, don't blame. Like it's not. It's part of her fault.
And how great would it be if she cheated on Daniel Bryan and just took that other guy's gimmick and started doing his chants and his moves?
Jeez.
Yeah, where's John Cena? Come on, why is he not fighting with the Bellas?
You know what I love? When Lita joined Edge, she stayed doing the Hardy essences. Like she would come out and do the. I respect that.
Well, Mella's still sort of Enzo-y.
Absolutely. Oh, for sure.
It's like
Enzo can't be Enzo.
She's got the cheetah print hat with the C on it. It looks just like his shirt. Yeah. It's incredible.
Well, now they can like really lean
embrace
into it and let her have it.
She's like, it's mine now.
Consensual Venus.
Who would have thought that? Oh, that's hilarious. Who would have thought that she would have been the last person
out of those three? Yeah. Never in a million years.
Nobody.
She's great in the ring, but I feel like her voice, she really amps that up so much, man.
I thought Big Cass would be the winner in that trio.
I knew Cass wasn't going to be the winner.
He's the prototype.
Yeah.
He's the WWE prototype. You know what I mean?
Yeah, but a 7-footer?
He's 7 foot, and he looks like handsome.
You can't teach that, Clayton.
That's a fact. He was just
boring.
Yeah, he was so boring, and he tried his hardest, but I could see him trying. Enzo was natural, but Enzo didn't have the size, and he didn't have the skill.
Enzo, I thought, was going to be the biggest star ever.
Man, because
he was so wrong on that. Well, I got to give him credit. So, you don't have to, but I guess the idea that he was so popular that they basically made him the star of 205 Live and let 205 Live matches be on all the Raw. I mean, like, Enzo did make some quick work in wrestling for sure. They made him the champ of 205 Live in like a few months.
Imagine if I keep spacing. Imagine if Neville stayed.
Oh, I'm mad at Neville for not being in pro wrestling still.
They leave so much because
his contract is ended. He could show up.
Well, they canceled. They terminated it.
Yeah, but now he can show up somewhere as of a couple of weeks ago, 2 weeks ago.
Well, I heard from a source that it was traveling. It just is a lot of that. There's a lot of things. There's a number of reasons, but one of them is it's a lot. It's just a lot of wrestling and a lot of travel and a lot of figuring all that stuff out. Like sometimes you just need a break, or sometimes you're just tired of it. And
if everybody was Brock Lesnar, there would be no Raw or SmackDown.
Right? Yeah, exactly.
You can't have somebody who only goes to certain events.
And then imagine feeling like you're not being watched, because 205 Live is pretty not watched out of all the things. So it's like he's doing all this crap.
It's less than NXT.
And he's so talented. That guy is insane.
Because it's the timing. Like, we all know that 205 Live is taped after SmackDown.
Right.
So it's like, now you got a crowd. You know, you've been to the live shows, and it's like, the crowd is tired. We've already seen SmackDown. It's great. Now you say, all right, 205 Live, here's a bunch of guys that you don't know anything about, as opposed to maybe even pre-showing it. Or I don't even agree that there should be a different show. I feel like you should make the writers incorporate these cruiserweights into every division.
I think so too.
And then if you want to say, and we got the cruiserweight title, you're like, all right, I challenge you. Like, you got to make it one show. If they're all on Raw and you don't make them like, I should be able to see Drew Gulak fight Seth Rollins, or I should be able to see Dolph Ziggler get into something with Cedric Alexander. Like, make them all level because they're all level.
Right. When also didn't they used to do that in like WCW and WWF, where there was like like you just see a cruiserweight match.
They get to like graduate from the division.
Yeah,
now it's
like
they're so
started as a cruiser.
Yeah,
and then
so
he
did
beat Kevin Nash.
Yeah, they all did.
Yeah, but also like it was during WCW that I'd watch cruiserweight.
Yeah.
Sure,
It was never like a separate thing. It was like, oh, I get to see some high flyers because like, there's a demand for that. I love watching Cedric Alexander, but I don't love him enough to watch a whole separate program just to watch him.
Right.
But like if he was on, like I'd love to watch any of those matches, or like the Luchador House Party is doing some incredible stuff right now that like is just being lost on everyone. Because
imagine if Kalisto came up and he had Grand Metalik and he had all of these guys and he started his own faction, sort of like the LWO.
Yeah.
But they weren't just in the cruiserweight
People would
division.
love
They
it.
were.
That's
you know
what
what I
Rey
mean?
Mysterio
Grand
wants to
Metalik
do.
gets like applause breaks on almost every move.
He's great.
Almost every move, and people are chanting like, "This is awesome," and like they're just buried. It's just nobody is.
Ricochet
it's
might be buried when he comes up.
You think so?
They don't have any good writing.
Well, that's what.
That's bring up Grand Metalik. Grand Metalik versus
That's
Ricochet.
what I worry
you could
about
make
with everybody. I worry about they're going to bring up Undisputed Era, and Adam Cole, who's like this huge star, is going to just be another.
Right.
And like,
look what they did with Bobby Roode, Asuka.
Look what they're doing with Kevin Owens now. Like it happens to everyone. You know what I mean?
If I could file charges, I would do that.
That's the
because
one.
Asuka, this is why I don't watch NXT
so
because the writing is never great for those guys and girls when they come up. But you look at Asuka, and she had this undefeated streak, and she loses it to Charlotte Flair of all people.
Yeah,
she didn't need that rub.
Right?
Come on, man. And then you see all of these great competitors, and it's like NXT is great. I don't want to watch NXT get attached, and then they come up, and it's Bobby Roode.
Yeah,
who's just an entrance.
I want heel Asuka with a manager. Yeah. And I want her to just rant in Japanese, and the manager is like the level head, like give her someone so she. Yeah, I don't need to listen to her limp in with like whack broken English on a sentence that she was just taught before she went out there. Like I want to see heel Asuka, kind of like heel Shinsuke, with like a voice
Heyman?
or like a piece, like a mouthpiece.
What if Shinsuke was her voice?
It'd be awesome because she wrestles great. And she's awesome. Great. And just give her like a mouthpiece or someone who's like badass and like make her bad. Like I think it'd be awesome.
She does this shit too much. I get out of this. I'm like, stay still. I'm trying to watch the program.
Stand still.
I ain't got time for this shit.
Well, I like the entrance. I like the mask. I like what they're doing with her. But lately they haven't been doing anything with her.
She's back this week.
What's that?
I don't know where she was gone, but she's back this week.
Man, the writing for her is build up a new streak to then you get people reinvested in her. But you can't let Charlotte beat everybody on the roster. She doesn't need it. I get it. You love Ric Flair. You love his daughter. She's doing a great job. She's very athletic. She's a great wrestler. But she can't win everything.
Woo! Right? I mean,
counterpoint.
She does have that.
Counterpoint.
She's got the catchphrase we've known since childhood.
Oh, God.
Oh, wait. That is not hers? That's right.
That's Ric Flair's.
Yeah.
Who else is, as far as women, I'll probably say one of my favorites. I feel like they're teasing Sasha and Bayley to get the women's tag team titles.
That's exactly what they're doing.
But they're taking too long to announce it. And but my
we already smell it coming from weeks away.
Super smell it. Natalya is always going to be in my stable of people that I will be like, okay, she deserves it. And Naomi, great wrestler. A lot of the other women, I like the she's with Andrade. Andrians.
The little girl, yeah.
Yeah, she's
Selena Vega.
Thank you. She's good.
Dope. I like her. She's as big as Aaron, and she's.
Excuse me.
Excuse me.
That's the thing I like about people. I don't know why you're so weird about compliments. He's just a modest guy when I try to compliment.
Compares me to some tiny lady.
Sometimes I compare you to a child.
A big child.
How tall are you?
I'm 5'3".
Okay. How tall is Kevin Hart?
Kevin Hart, I think he's exactly my height.
Oh, nice.
Really? You're also as tall as NBA basketball player Muggsy Bogues.
No, really?
Muggsy Bogues is 5'3". Google it.
All right, I'm gonna look it up.
What about Spud Webb?
I was pretty obsessed with his height. I know that it's 5'3".
I think we've done this
before.
before.
Spud Webb?
Right.
It's 5'3". I don't know. I think SpongeBob's taller actually, because Muggsy's the shortest of all time in the NBA.
Speaking of which, as far as heights, man, I know you gotta hate it, but you're so tall. Like,
I know
it's deceptively tall.
It's weird that people don't know how tall I am to stand by me because I'm like proportional, evidently. But like the comments of me posting a photo with Randy Johnson, everyone's just like, "How tall is Randy Johnson?" Or like, "Wait a minute, how?" Like it was so funny that mostly height things. I'm from Seattle. Nobody wanted to talk about like how it's like Randy Johnson, like
nobody mentioned a bird.
Yeah, it was incredible.
Man,
I'm glad I didn't bring up the bird thing. I got to meet Randy Johnson for the people listening at yesterday. I threw out a first pitch for the Arizona Diamondbacks.
Amazing.
And I got to meet Randy Johnson before the game because he works in the front office. Mm-hmm. And he told me a story. Chad, I'm gonna get your help on this one.
Oh, like this.
I think Randy Johnson gets a bad rap for being a grump or being unpersonable because he is a little socially awkward. And I think he uses like being standoffish as a defense mechanism. Because when I met him, I was like, "Hey man, just so you know, I grew up in Seattle and like it was, it's a really big deal to me. I was a huge Mariners fan, like the biggest. I got to skip school to go see the 1-game playoff, and I watched you.
Seattle. So you watched in a Kingdom.
Yeah, but he did it different than that. But that's what he said. He goes, "Oh, Seattle, Washington, you watched that baseball in the Kingdom." And I was like, "Yeah."
It's like an alien trying to, he's like, "This is how humans talk."
It was like a robot.
Yeah,
it was very robotic. Yeah. And then I was like, yeah, like he was telling me like I wouldn't know the name of the stadium.
Yeah, we were both there, Randy.
And I said it was super exciting because you got to pitch against Mark Langston, but you came in relief. And then also like Luis Sojo hit a inside the park grand slam, and I was only telling him all these things just to let him know I'm not pulling his leg.
Yeah,
I was really there, and I am a real fan. Mm-hmm. I'm sure everyone says like, "Oh, I was the biggest fan of Griffey, and so I saw your, So I just didn't want to look like another fan lying to him. So I tell him all these things, and he goes, "That game was really special for me because I was traded from Montreal for Mark Langston, and that was the first time our paths had crossed, and it was a 1-game playoff against the California." And I was like,
on September
I just
30th,
said all those
1995.
Yeah. It was so
game start time at 1:05
it was
p.m.
At 1:05 p.m.
And this chat was making fun of him earlier. It's like,
"You're Jeff Dye.
I am very tall. I'm taller than most people. Most people aren't as tall as me.
Some people are short. Some people are fat. Some people are skinny." Yeah, Randy. Thanks, man.
I am one of the tall humans.
It was really strange. I could in my mind,
and
I
all
was
of a sudden he was like 00011100011. 00011.
Yeah, that makes sense why he exploded that bird because it's probably superhuman strength. He's a robot. He's a
shapeshifter
He's
or something.
Big,
it was a weird
robot.
Yeah.
Also, I noticed
his interface picked it up from the side.
It
was like Terminator, and he's like zeroing in on target.
Yeah, he tried to figure out how to form words.
Good day, human Jeff.
This is an interesting thing. I think he's deaf.
Oh.
He had 2 hearing aids in, really sleek millionaire hearing aids, and so that would also be another reason maybe he's like trying to not.
Yeah, that makes sense.
Just kind of being like, "Oh, I don't want to mess with that," because he doesn't want weird interactions with people. But he had 2 full-on hearing aids, and I said to the girl that was the one that coordinated the whole thing, and she's like, "Yeah, he's hard of hearing, so that's another reason he doesn't like being."
You think it's just because he's that far away from other people's mouths and stuff?
He's 6'10", he needs hearing aids. Aaron has no idea what it's like to be over 5'3".
Yeah.
But we don't need
I actually
hearing
yell a lot
aids.
when I talk
Sound
to you.
goes up.
Oh,
yeah.
But you speak you have a very soft voice.
Very
I've
tall
never
voice?
heard you.
You're putting words in his mouth.
Okay. I was trying to put words in his
I've never
mouth.
heard you yell. It's always like, even when I speak to you, it's like, "Yeah, nigga, like you have the best TV acting voice."
Well, he does it with you all the time. He's so
Man.
proud of your guys' relationship, just so you know. His favorite thing in the world is when everything is happening in whatever, but he can lean over and give you some gems.
He's the best.
It's his favorite thing in the world.
Listen.
Which he's robbing us of punchlines to win over your friendship. You know what I'm saying? I love Aaron for that reason.
He's polishing gems, giving my
He's
friends,
a
man.
joke robot, but he's holding some back to slide Clayton's way. It's like he doesn't want us all to have it.
Aaron's timing is so good
Yeah.
that it's
incredible.
like, what'll happen? I'll give you a perfect scenario. We're all watching. Wrestling. And something happens. Jeff says something. We hit a big laugh. And Aaron is perfect for he'll be like, da-da-da-da-da-da. And I heard it because I'm closest to him.
Yes.
I'm like, that's fucking hilarious. But y'all missed it.
Well, we missed it.
Riding high.
Yeah, exactly.
Man.
Well, he doesn't miss an opportunity to throw them in. It doesn't matter what's happening. The Pope could be giving a christening, and Aaron's not going to miss the moment that he has to pepper that in.
Classic.
Now,
incredible. On the opposite, Tony does not fuck with these jokes. Like, he's always in the moment of wrestling, and it's like da-da-da-da-da. Tony's like,
yeah, carries on. Yeah.
Man, well, he's the groggiest, young, because you're the youngest of all of us.
That's true, but it's just like, and I just
around him. He acts like the oldest man of all of them.
And I'm just around him so much that it was like, it's just now they're just in one ear and out the other. Like, because I know I'm like, this is going to be something
also
gross.
Also doesn't fuck with it, which you'll love to listen to maybe just this piece of the last episode with Chris Cope.
Chris Cope. He had no interest.
He just wanted to tell these really great stories. And Chris Cope's very funny. He loves Aaron too. But it was funny because Aaron would just put in a quick joke and they would throw Chris Cope off in the middle of a story. And then Chris Cope's like, what do you want me to do with that? And he's like, we do this for a living, And you're just going to throw that shit down? It's like putting a Burger King, it's like putting a Whopper in front of Gordon Ramsay and being like, can you do anything with this? I can't. Oh, it was so funny to watch a man I adore just getting belittled by Chris Cope. It was amazing.
Chris is the first dude in the Comedy Magic Club. Man, I was so eggshells when I first got into Comedy Magic because Richard was like, "Yeah, this is the clean club, and you make sure you're not vulgar or anything." And I'm like, "All right," because I fucking cuss, that's my shit. So I'm sitting there, and I know the set that I'm going to do tonight, and I'm hearing everybody curse. By the way, I'm watching the monitor, everybody's like, "Fuck," and I'm "Oh, I can't curse." Got it. So I'm sitting there, and Chris is hosting, and he sits down. And he was so inappropriate. But it was the first time I met him. Not inappropriate, talking about politically correct shit.
He's just edgy with his jokes. Yeah.
Not even that. He's talking to me and he's making these funny gay come-ons to me. But I know he's not gay, but he's just he's like, yeah, man. He's like, yeah, great hair. I'm like, thanks, man. He's like, yeah, it makes me wonder what your thighs look like. And I was
Jeepers.
Wow.
I was like,
that's pretty scary.
All right. But it's only he and I in the room. And I'm like, I can't curse.
Yeah.
And I gotta not offend this motherfucker. But after I seen him perform, I'm like, okay, he's literally just joking.
Yeah.
I love Chris. He just did the Conan.
I know, it was awesome. We talked about it on it. It was fun to watch. And it's also cool to have another big guy in comedy. We lost John Panette. We lost Ralphie May.
We lost Ralph. He looks like Ralphie. He could be
He looks
related.
like Panette.
Wait, I'm not crazy about Ralphie.
We lost Panette?
Yeah.
Yeah, he looks like Panette
About 2 or
for
3 years
sure.
ago.
Yeah.
Damn, I didn't know that.
But this
On a
kind of another
WrestleMania
big guy getting pop, that's funny.
He was super funny, man. I watched that set.
Oh, it's good. That laugh about the super villain, that's a good laugh. Hey man, thanks for being on. Let's plug your show, plug everything you got coming up.
Well, my show Family Time airs on October 1st on Bounce TV. If you do not know what channel that is, go to the internet and you can watch every season from there.
Perfect.
Also, I am on tour with Martin Lawrence. It is coming to a city near you
How have we
starting
not talked about that?
end of September. Go to just Google Lit AF Tour and you will find me there. And as always, go to my website and you can follow me everywhere. I am Clayton Thomas.
And you Twitch too, right?
Not yet, because I haven't got the tone.
Also, when you're opening for Martin Lawrence, will any of those shows be local?
Not my dates. My dates, I'm going to be in
Nothing
Jacksonville.
in California.
Yeah, Orlando. Yeah, I'm not. Nothing in Cali.
Crap, I would love to come see you and
I would love to be in Cali.
And just watch.
Home?
Aaron, anything to plug, bud?
I'm also opening for Martin Lawrence. I'm also on I Am Clayton. All of my stuff is Aaron and Marsh and Flappers September 12th. I think it's the last time I'm going to plug that for this one.
That's a Thursday.
I hope you're right.
It might be a Friday.
I think it's a Wednesday.
It's a Wednesday.
I think it's a Wednesday.
Wednesday.
Tone Dog.
Yeah, our gaming channel.
You got two gaming channel, Jeff and Tony Play.
Right.
But then you also have a podcast called Screen Peekers.
Right, which is now a YouTube channel as well. So check that
out. For me, just go to jeffdye.com. Check out the dates. All my social medias are at JeffDye. Chad, you want to plug anything, bud?
Yeah, when does this come out? Next week?
Tomorrow.
Oh, tomorrow? Okay, I'm going to be on the Jeff Dye Friendship podcast tomorrow.
Yeah.
No, if you're in the Bay Area, I'll be at Milk Bar October 9th, and then Critical Hit October 27th.
Perfect.
At Chad Denick on Twitter.
Perfect. And
Instagram
also,
is
your Twitter is phenomenal. You're one of the best Twitters I know.
Yeah, it's just because how fun I am. But
yeah. But your Twitter is one of the best.
I appreciate that.
Yeah, and I mean it. All right, man. Thanks for coming, you guys. Thanks for listening. We out.
Friendship.
How great was that? Big thank you to Clayton Thomas. We love you, buddy. Always welcome here. One of my favorite friends. Yeah, thanks for subscribing, Patreon subscribers. Thanks for listening on iTunes or Podbean or wherever you get this. We love you guys. Spread the word for us. Let everyone know that you like this podcast, and we'll keep making it. We're happy to make it for you guys. Also, go listen to some old episodes. Go mosey on back there. Listen to some old episodes. We love you guys. Peace.